And has become the longest reigning British monarch. She's just broken the 63-year record set by Queen Victoria, her great-great-grandmother. During her reign, she's seen 12 British prime ministers, 7 popes, 12 American presidents come and go. But the 89-year-old Queen, it seemed to be business as usual. She went to Scotland to open a railway line. Nicholas Witchell reports.
She would have been quite happy if this milestone had passed without public recognition. But, true to form, the Queen did what was required of her and interrupted her holiday so that she could be seen on her record-breaking day. At Edinburgh's Waverley station, she boarded a steam train, specially brought in for the occasion to travel the length of Scotland's new Borders Railway. And during the journey, perhaps even a monarch who dislikes a fuss may have reflected on the record-breaking path of her own reign.
Queen of this realm and of all her other realms and territories, head of
that reign began in Britain on a February day in 1952. She'd been abroad when her father died. She returned to Britain as Queen with a deeply held obligation to serve her country. Today that service was recognised and appreciated. The bells of Westminster Abbey rang out, and there were tributes elsewhere, on the skyline of London from the BT Tower, and on the River Thames, where a small flotilla of vessels had gathered, led by the Jubilee barge Gloriana, and where a gun salute was fired from HMS Belfast.
Today, Her Majesty the Queen becomes...
In the House of Commons, political leaders paid their tributes.
Today, we should stop and take a moment as a nation to mark this historic milestone and to thank Her Majesty for the extraordinary service that she's given to our country over more than 6 decades.
It is entirely characteristic of her that she has let it be known that she doesn't want there to be a fuss made about today, but we are making a fuss, and deservedly so. We send her our warmest congratulations, our appreciation, and above all, our thanks.
The royal family had been discouraged by the Queen from saying anything, but one made an exception, Prince Andrew.
It's an extraordinary achievement in some respects, but actually it's about the consistency and the leadership that she is showing and has shown throughout her reign that I think is probably the one thing that marks her up more than anything else.
The Borders Express by now was steaming through the rolling hills of the Scottish borders.
I arrived at Waverley this morning. The first person I spoke to was somebody who had come all the way from Australia. Really?
In her compartment, the Queen was deep in conversation with Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, while the Duke of Edinburgh stared out of the window. The conversation only paused so that the Queen could stand at the window to wave to the crowds. At Tweed Bank, the final stop on the new Borders line, there was simply no avoiding the detail that everyone, apart from the Queen, wanted to talk about. Nicola Sturgeon led the praise.
Your Majesty, today you become the longest reigning monarch in British history. Throughout your reign, supported at all times by the Duke of Edinburgh, you have carried out your duties with dedication, wisdom, and an exemplary sense of public service.
Then, in a short speech, the Queen finally and briefly alluded to the cause of all the fuss.
Many, including you, First Minister, have also kindly noted another significance attaching to today, although it is not one to which I have ever aspired. Inevitably, a long life can pass by many milestones. My own is no exception. But I thank you all, and the many others at home and overseas, for your touching messages of great kindness.
A monarchy is not to everyone's taste. There is a minority which would wish to be rid of it. Yet all the evidence suggests that it is broadly as popular now as when Elizabeth II's record-breaking reign began. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News, Tweed Bank.